let me put my cards on the table. I've always supported trans rights to fairness and equality, and I mean that sincerely. I want everyone...
bro.
Well, you can say bro, and that's fine. You're entitled to. It's an uncensored show, and you've just proven it. But let me just say to you, I always
wasn't your profile picture?
Well,
wasn't your profile picture?
I listened to...
identifying as a penguin.
No.
If you
in
heard...
Afghanistan...
All right, Mr. Shane, let me jump in. Let me respond to you. Let me
have...
respond to you, please. Don't just keep talking.
Elected judges
one thing. The
cannot
Constitution.
set
Hold on.
a policy
I
this
identify
important.
as an American as well. So calm down and let me finish. Let me finish. You never...
So why do that? There are other ways to protest.
Because you're not listening to what I've just said. You're not emotionally connecting to the fact that what I've just said to you is 1 billion
Actually,
people...
you're not listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am, but what I'm saying is we're in this
what you're not hearing is I'm agreeing with your cause, with the campaign you're waging.
Just said to you it's
I
not
just don't agree
cause.
with the tactics. I want you to concede, Liam.
But I don't agree with government criminality.
Let me finish. I want you to concede that the tactics you've been using are self-defeating. I think there's a better, more effective way to do it. I think you would, if you're honest with yourself, say that actually this doesn't work, this kind of thing. It might get you a few lurid headlines, but I don't see any of the British public go, you know what, I'm watching this video, I've got to join that protest. They think the opposite. They think you're a bunch of people wrecking people's lives. Do you understand...
Piers,
well, let me finish. Let me ask you a question. Do you understand and appreciate...
What are all these dog whistles and talking points?
They're not dog whistles and talking points. They are legitimate areas of concern. You can't just call everyone who disagrees with you transphobic.
Shut up, please.
If you keep swearing, I'll have to cut you off.
You can go and have a look at their websites. You can have a look at their Twitters. Like, they are transphobic.
Yes, but I am
Kelly
talking
J.
to you...
Keane was kicked out of...
I just said to you... All right, if you're going to...
out of Women's Place UK for being
If you don't want to have a civilised conversation with me...
People.
OK, look, I'm trying to give you a chance. I've explained my position. What is your problem with my position?
I don't really know. I'm going to leave the interview now. I kind of only came on here because I thought it would be kind of funny. But I want to say you're a and you're a fascist.
When was the last time you were a student?
I was a student when I was 19.
Oh, how old are you? That was a long time ago. That is a long ass time ago.
You're being ageist.
Can I say that?
You're being ageist.
No, I'm just saying.
Wow.
That's a fact.
It
was a long time ago.
Triggered. Can you not? No, can you not be...
You're the snowflake here.
Can you not be ageist?
You're the snowflake here.
Can you not be ageist?
All I'm saying is, how can you know what's going on at our university?
I'm just reading this report.
You're reading a report that says that students welcome a freedom of speech.
This is the Higher Education Policy
that says
Institute.
that students want to make sure that, yes, there is freedom of speech, but also that we're enabling support for students who...
Can I ask a question?
Campuses are students'
Can I ask a question without you getting offended?
I'm not offended.
Right,
you couldn't offend me if you're trying.
OK, great. Great.
Go ahead.
I love that.
I'm a black woman in this country. You can't offend me.
I don't want to offend you. I want to give you my honest opinion.
Please
you give me yours. What is multiple truths?
Multiple
Because last time I checked, there's only one truth. Facts are facts. That's it.
That's not a very good philosophical outlook. Maybe you should go to uni. Maybe you should go to uni.
It's called the
fact. But anyway,
there's only one truth.
To answer your question...
Do you agree there's only one truth?
To answer your question, what does it mean? It means that it's both possible to enable freedom of speech, as our students' unions do day in and day out, but that it is also possible to make sure that we're hearing the voices of people who, you know, our campuses and our communities of education are often the homes of these students as well. So when they're saying, I want to have the space to speak out about what's happening here, I want to have the space to protest, I want to have the space to share alternative views, that is them exercising their democratic right to freedom of speech too.
What do you mean? They're not currently at school. Let them go back to school. Just say you can all go back to school.
That is why we are talking to work out a mechanism, and I hope
it will be soon. What's there to talk about, Mr. Shaheen? With respect, there's nothing to talk about. A girl should be entitled to go to school in Afghanistan the same way a boy goes to. You yourself said in August last year that they had nothing to worry about, nothing to be scared about. So if they've got nothing to worry about, let them go back to school. Give them the education that they were having. Give them the education that they deserve. Just do it.
For the remainder of this interview, identify as atheists, OK?
No
so
one
therefore
cares.
we fix that problem. as
just
someone
answer
doesn't
the
care about
question.
any religion. Wait, let me finish. As somebody that has no religion right now, I've just identified as that, this has nothing to do with religion. And again, if you looked at American laws, which you clearly know nothing about, The Supreme Court is not making a decision on religion. This is your religious bigotry towards people of religion and bigotry towards those that believe in God. When this has nothing to do.
The key point is it stops you from dying. I mean, that's the whole point of the vaccines.
Piers, a young, healthy man, what is he, in his 30s? His chances of dying
You're a young, healthy woman. You've been jabbed, right?
I have chosen to disclose my jab status when I chose to disclose
You sound like one of those people talking about transport and women.
That's my business. But whether one chooses to actually show that at a border, or you can choose. This is the thing. You should be able to make a choice. Bodily autonomy is the most fundamental human right. Novak Djokovic isn't asking for special treatment. I think it's incredible he's standing by his principles. He's a young, healthy man, peak of physical fitness.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't.
But he's also a role model who will have definitely deterred a lot of people who perhaps should have the jab
a role model
from having
for sports people standing up for their principles.
They're huge role models.
What, like the England footballers who take a knee for Black Lives Matter, but they'd happily go and compete in the World Cup in Qatar, where we have outrageous treatment of gay people.
I've no problem with them taking the knee. I think it's good when they take the knee. In fact, funny enough, when the players take the knee at Arsenal, when I go, the entire crowd of 60,000 people, white, black, and any time they all cheer.
But it's
I don't hear a single dissenting voice.
But it's hypocrisy because you can't do that and then go and play in Qatar.
Now, I've got an energy bill of £550 that I'm really struggling to pay. I'm sure Sherilyn...
But do you insulate... You famously walked off Good Morning Britain and you were in good company, all the best people do.
Yeah.
But you walked off Good Morning Britain when they asked you if you insulate your own home and you said you don't because you're a hypocrite. Have you started to insulate it yet?
I've just said to you I've got a £550 bill that I can't pay.
Right, so just to be clear, though, you still don't insulate your own home, even though your whole campaign is you've got to start doing that.
So we're talking about social housing.
I understand.
The poorest in our society.
I understand.
We're saying that it won't happen unless the poorest in our society can do the job. And as we all know, the poorest in our society are struggling in poverty.
You see, but Lynn, I would take you more seriously if you did insulate your own home.
So are you only
You're an
saying
electrician,
that...
you know how to insulate a home, right?
And for the last 18 months, I've been doing a job that doesn't pay well, Piers, right? So I'm not a very well-off guy.
Right.
And what you're saying is that only people that can afford £10,000 to insulate and retrofit a property...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
are the ones that can have an opinion on this. And we're talking about...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it would probably help your cause if you stopped lying down in front of mums trying to take their kids to school, or people whose mothers are literally having strokes and getting paralysed. If you stop doing that and you actually practice what you preach about things like insulation, people might be more inclined to follow your campaign, which, by the way, just to finish on, I agree with. We've talked about this. Just for the record, you have 2 daughters. Do they go to school?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, of course. Of course they do, because you're in Doha and they can go to school, right?
They are observing hijab. They are observing hijab, and so that means we have not denied.
So
we have not denied to our people.
So if they do exactly, if your daughters do exactly what you tell them, they're allowed to get. Okay, so your daughters get an education because. Wait a minute. Your daughters get an education because they do what you tell them. All right? I'm glad we clarified that.